So this next video and the next few are going to talk you through writing an adventure program using a text adventure program in Python. I think it's really interesting. It's very clearly written, and the website I got it from was the same one as the last set of instructions, the Coding Pie. And it's a post called Make Your Own Text-Based Adventure Game in Python. And it starts quite sensibly by saying if you're going to do a text adventure game, you need to have planned which routes are going to have what effect. So they give a diagram showing where you will start. You'll welcome the adventurer. You'll ask them to choose left and right. If they choose left, they go into the bear room. From there, if they choose 1, the game is over. But if they choose 2, they go into the diamond room, you can see. And then the rest of the instructions follow through here. Okay, so it tells you in this diagram what the flow of play will be. It shows you that if the player starts and either chooses 2 in the bear room or 1 in the monster room, they will go to the diamond room. And if in the diamond room they choose 2, they will then win. Okay, and the first decision will be whether they go left into the bears or right into the monsters. So we have to have a plan of what will happen. I would really like to change this perhaps at some time to be some sort of self-help program, but I'm not quite sure how yet. So I've copied the first part of their code. Notice again, only the parts that do not have hash are parts of the program. So although I've got a lot written here, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines of code. Be careful again with those quotes, brackets, colons, indenting, things like that. Things you probably should notice. So one thing is that the very start of the program is at the very bottom, and all the rest of the program is above it. When I call a function, I must already in the program have shown Python what the instructions for that function will be. So I have to have defined it before I call it. So notice at the very bottom we call a function called start. Here we just say start. We don't put any arguments in. That goes up to where the function is defined here. Notice the colon. Everything in the function is indented. Notice the /n. That simply makes an extra line. You could try running the program without that n, that /n. Notice there's a line which is has the instruction input. What this line does is it tells Python, input is another keyword, another part of Python, and what it does is it says take in whatever the user types in at this point. Lower just simply makes it lowercase letter. So what's happening is it will show this chevron, it will wait for the user, and whatever the user types in, it will put whatever they type in into a space in memory that we as humans will refer to as a space called answer. We have a sort of human word so we can recognize what it is. So I've saved off a little place. I'm calling that place answer, and when someone types in L or R at my instruction, the L or R will get put into there. So then we check if there is an L, then we start a new function that we have to have defined, bare room. I must have already told the computer what that will be like above here. Otherwise, if they put R, then we go into the monster room, or we go to the code that we have already defined, which we have called monster room. And if they didn't put L or R, then we make some sort of rude message about their inability to type, and the game finishes. So, notice that if, elif, and else are keywords, they're part of the language. Notice what we do, just like with defining a function, we have a colon here. This time there's no bracket, but we have a colon, and then the line is indented to say that is the line to do if L is in the answer. Otherwise, if R was in the answer, so elif, else if, we have a colon to say here's what you need to do, and we just call monster room, and then else we call a final function, and this time we are going to throw a value into that as we run it. So what I've done, I've not finished this code, but I have put some of these functions in. So if I type L at the start, it will take me to the bare room code. And if I scroll up, here are my instructions if they go into the bare room, if they typed L. So if they typed L, it will call bare room. It will go up to this group of code here, and we'll give them some nice messages. We'll give them the options. We'll get them to say this time 1 or 2, and we'll put that into answer. And this now is checking double equals means, is that equal to? If answer is the same as 1, notice this colon, then call game over. And as you call game over, the bear kills you is going into that instruction. At the bottom, we noticed if they typed wrongly, we called game over, but we put this, don't you know how to type properly? Here, if they've gone in and they've gone into, if they've called 1 as our plan predicted, they would finish the game. We will call game over, and we will put the bear killed you as a message going in. If they type 2, they give a nice little message, and then we call the function for the next part of the adventure. If they didn't type 1 or 2, they typed something else, you don't give them another chance. You finish the game, but this time you type a rude message about don't you know how to type a number. And if we look here, what happens is we take in reason, and we've been throwing reasons in all the time. It might be don't you know how to type something, it might be don't you know how to type a number, or it might be the bear killed you. So it goes a new line, it throws in that phrase, and then it will finish. And then we also include a little play again option. So we are going to call another function right near the very end, right near the end. If we've been thrown out of the game, we will go and have a look at that. And here it's another function. Notice again, we're defining it. We've got a code, we've got brackets. and a colon, because all functions must have a bracket, have brackets in case you want to put something in. We're not actually letting any information in, but they still have to be there. This is all indented by 1, because this is all part of the play again function. But notice, and I should have said this earlier, where I have an if, I have another indent, so it indents from the indent. And I'm asking if they want to play again. If they do, it takes us back to start. Otherwise, it will take us to exit. Now, these are the only parts I've put into the program so far. You can see not a lot of code is needed to make it run the first path. So at the moment, I've got start, I'm going left, I've got bare room, I've got game over. I haven't made the diamond room. So let's just play. We tell it there's a game. Show you. This is that instruction. We're in a dark room. There's door to your left and right. Here we are. There's those lines. I'm going to type. I'm going to type Y. That's not allowed. Yes. Play again. We start again. I'll type left because I know there's instructions for the bare room. Do I take the honey or do I taunt the bear? Well, I know I've only put the code in so far for 1. And what happened was I went into the bear room. I then was asked whether I wanted to take the honey or taunt the bear. I chose 1 and it finished the game. And then it's asked me if I want to play again. And these functions all have separate individual jobs, which is why they've got a good name so we know what they're doing. If you want to copy this, my code, here you can go to this link, and you can again fork my copy so that you can take your own version. What I'll do as well is I will make a final copy, and I'll call it Story Adventure Finished, which will be all of this code. And a reminder, this is all from this really descriptive website. Hope you kept up there, and good luck with the bears.